countdown. Oh, maybe not a countdown. Hello, everybody. So this is Marissa and my special guest, Asia Climaco. We go way back. Oh my gosh, do we even tell them how far back?
That's not.
Because that would make us, what, you in high school and me in college, probably?
Yes, back then.
Yeah, so it's like just
We'll let you guess when that was.
Yeah, there you go, guessing game. But we're going to talk to you today about, and we were just discussing this just minutes ago, so we were being really authentic. And that was, what are we going to talk about?
Right.
And what do we want to talk about? But we wanted to be authentic about what we talked about. We didn't want it to be anything but something that was really personal to us. And we thought being raw, like being raw with you and being raw with each other. What do you think about living the authentic life, Asia?
I think it's something I should have done years ago. I took way too many years to align with who I am. I kept trying to be who everybody wanted me to be, no matter who that was. Family, friends, my husband, career. And in trying to do that, I kept putting my hopes, dreams, desires, and my authentic self in a box and saying, okay, later. You can live later. And quite honestly, we're not guaranteed another breath.
Yeah, right.
So eventually, I actually had some episodes last year where I came very close to not surviving. And, my physicians really couldn't figure out they could not guarantee that I would survive. So I really had to start thinking about that. I'm like, okay, so what have I not accomplished? What have I not done that I have to do? Yes, there's all those dreams of making money and building this house and going on this trip, but I had not nurtured the relationships I had to nurture to make sure that they would be okay when I left. So I came to the realization that I had to be the best version of me that I can be. Not there yet, not making, any claims to perfection, but I had to start making those changes within myself to be able to be the best person for all of those relationships that I have, so that if I leave, they don't feel jilted.
Wow. And that's, it's so true. Like, we do have to prepare for, I know a lot of us don't like to think about our ending, but I mean, it's taxes and death that we can be certain of. So, I love that. I love that because I know that helps me to live the authentic life, is to think that way. Like, I could not be, I may not be here tomorrow.
Right.
And so I don't want to masquerade. I want to just be who I am. And so also, because putting on a mask, which I did for many, many years, and living the inauthentic self takes more work than living the authentic self.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's so, and even just so again, being totally authentic, when she said, well, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and do this right now. I'm like, whoa, what? I don't look the way I want to look, but I was like, okay, let me throw on some lipstick, whatever. Put that on. I'm like, that's so not authentic. Hold on, I'm going to go wipe it off. So it is that additional work. My dad, oh my God, I love my dad. I remember when we were little, he would always, we would take 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, putting makeup on. And not little, teenagers. Right. Putting makeup on. He's like, why are you putting on war paint? He's like, are you going out into the world to battle something? And it's like, in a way, yes, but that started to resonate with me in recent years where I'm like, why do I take time to put makeup on when that's not what I look like? Yeah. Why do I take time to go find an outfit that I think everyone else is going to love instead of just wearing what I'm comfortable in? I want to be comfortable in my own skin. I want to be comfortable with my own decisions. So it was so much work, and I think literally that's what started setting off my fibromyalgia, was working so hard to be who I thought I was supposed to be because that's what society said. That's what everyone else said. And when I decided, I haven't recovered from all of that yet, and there's technically no cure, but I don't believe that. because I believe in the power of the human brain.
Yes.
Um,
And healing.
Yes, and healing. But when I decided to stop trying to live up to these other expectations, life got easier. That was so much easier to just. I don't have to put the makeup on, so I don't have to wake up an hour earlier. Or if I do wake up an hour earlier, I can do something else. Spend time with my bearded dragon, or whatever it is.
Okay.
I definitely recommend bearded dragons.
Ooh, they're kind of like, anyway, not to get sidetracked, squirrel. I knew when I kind of hit that authenticity is after major counseling, but I was in a retreat with everyone, and for the first time, I didn't have to put makeup on. Like, I think that was the clincher for me, was I could be in a room full of people and not have my makeup on and be okay with it. And so there's nothing wrong with makeup,
But no,
but
not at all.
nothing wrong at all. And I mean, gosh, we all look better with it. But I think it's when you can't live without it. I think that's when it becomes kind of, that maybe you can question and say, am I really living authentically, or is there a fear behind not wearing makeup because it would expose you, maybe, or
Right.
but it's when we can just live freely, right? I mean, when you don't have to think about it so much, or when you don't have to have it, like the makeup. And so I think that's when you're set free, is when there's not that need, there's not that I gotta wake up and I gotta put this on, or I gotta do this. Boy, it just makes life so much more fun
For sure.
and joyful.
I actually remember, and I wouldn't name names even if I did remember, but I remember there were some people that, when I was younger, that their husbands had never even seen them without makeup.
Oh, God.
Because they were it was that much of a shield and a protection for them that, from maybe previous trauma or something, that they would go to bed after he fell asleep and go wash their makeup off and make sure that they woke up before he ever woke up and put their makeup on.
Oh.
And, again, I'm not criticizing anyone for wearing makeup or even criticizing them for doing that, but to have that need, to have that barrier and that division from the world, that there's deep pain in that.
Yes.
And the more you start to release that, the more vibrant your life becomes, and the more peaceful your life becomes. And that's the reason I decided to start going back towards what's more authentic, and literally wearing like I have way too many clothes. I need to get rid of them, but I'll wear like the same things all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable.
Exactly.
I like them.
Exactly. Another mark of authenticity, I think, is also when I think when we can just speak truth.
Yes.
And we don't have to be mean about it. We just have to speak it. Because I feel like if I can just speak my truth, and usually gracefully and lovingly, it just feels better. And then I am living a more authentic self. I think because in my past, I always wanted to be a peacemaker, so I would just stay silent. But then I started feeling, as I got older and older, like that's not who I am. I really wanted to say this, and I wanted to say this, and why didn't I? And now I'm learning to speak the truth in love, and really not care what you think. That's, oh my gosh, that is true freedom. It's like just saying it, and it doesn't matter what you say to me, and I can take it.
Right.
I can just take it. How about you?
I think that's very. I totally agree with that. I know I've heard so many times that whatever you think about me is none of my business, and and I used to not believe that. I'm like, oh my God, that person thinks this. No, I have to prove to someone that, for example, I'm not a racist. Can you believe that? I actually had to prove I wasn't a racist, and I'm like, what? She knows me very well, so she knows not only
you are totally not.
my family. We're multicultural, so there's no way. But I felt that just because this person said that about me, that I had to defend that, and I had to go above and beyond to like prove that's not the case, you know, or in other areas of my life as well, to prove, let's say at a job, because you didn't hit metrics, then you have to give all this stuff to prove you worked. You just didn't hit the metric, and then so I finally, you know, just started saying, okay, you want to think that way of me? Have at it. Think whatever you want. My friends, they know me.
Right.
My source knows me. I know me. My heart knows me. I know where things are, and I'm just going to live from there. And as I shared with you, you know, a little bit ago, right before this, as I made that change, that's when the right people who resonated with me and who resonate with my authentic self started coming into my life, and things started turning around. So I was going down this path, trying thing after thing after thing after thing to make my life work in the boxes I thought it was supposed to be in. And when I threw the boxes away, my life started to work, because those that were supposed to be there came into that picture. And you know, same on the same token, those who I was keeping in the box, you know, come on, let's go, let's keep going. Some of them just started disappearing. But that was the best thing for me, and probably the best thing for them, because we don't actually resonate when you come down to who you truly are. So have you found that same thing in your life as well?
So it's kind of like the law of attraction.
Yes.
Is basically what it is when you're more real, you're going to attract those people who fall in the same lines, you know? Oh, I totally believe in that. So in the law of attraction, so just be who you are, and you're going to attract those types of people.
Absolutely.
And also, as a parent, why is it so important to be authentic? Well, I think that's a no-brainer, because you are modeling that to your children. You are a model of your authenticity. Will rub off on them. They will see what. So if you pretend, they'll pretend. You know, and if you're raw, they're more raw. They basically watch you. Unfortunately, what do you think about that, Asia?
Absolutely. And the other thing too is when you know, just in my own case, when I kept trying to always make it look like everything was perfect, like life was perfect, when I was making really, you know, I was making good money and just getting my kids whatever they wanted, when I take a step back and look, were we any happier? No, we were not. When I had nothing, but I was sharing with my kids, you know, okay, well, tonight we're eating this because mommy needs to be able to make more money. Right now we're struggling. You know, them knowing that, they understand it, then they also understand that the world's not easy out there. You know, I don't know if you ever got this, but I of course had my kids threatening to run away every now and then. You know, well, I'm just leaving. Okay, bye. Have fun. Let's see how fast.
No, mine was more like leave. So no,
I'm not eating salmon.
I was the one.
I am not eating salmon. I'm just going to run away. Okay, honey. See you later.
Here's bus fare.
Exactly, right? So, but as I, you know, with the kids, even when you are open, one, like you said, yes, you're modeling for them, but at the same time, they know that they're not hearing this arguing behind the door. You know, if you're going to disagree, you can have a regular discussion about it, and then also, if it has anything to do with the kids, include them. Okay, well, we disagree. I want to go to Maryland. Dad wants to go to California. Let's discuss it as a family. You know, instead of us yelling behind the door, well, no, we always go see your family, you know, whatever it is. But just being genuine in front of your kids, that they're going to know that they can trust you. If they find out later that there was something they didn't know, that's going to break your relationship, and you're going to have to repair that.
Right. Not
that it can't be repaired, but if you had just been, again, being authentic is just so much easier. If you've just been authentic from the beginning, that you know, yes, something negative could have happened, but your kids are going to know, okay, well, but I know my mom. So also when it comes down to gossip, let's say, I know my mom. I know she didn't do that. Let me just go talk to her, and then you tell them what really happened, and they're like, yeah, that's what I thought. Whereas
Right.
in another situation, they might be like, wait, my mom did? Oh my God. Well, I mean, she is kind of secretive sometimes. So,
Right.
so just being totally open with your kids about everything. Not, yes, there are lines, there are things that kids don't need to be exposed
Right.
to. Protect them from that. But other than that, just be an open book to them if they have questions, even if it's about a hard topic, drugs, guns, sex, whatever it is. Be open with them, be communicative, and that's going to help them be more authentic too, and avoid pitfalls.
Absolutely. So one of the key benefits of being authentic and real, just your real self, I think, is you do tend to have better relationships.
In
Don't
general,
you feel like?
yes.
Yeah. And again, it's back to that law of attraction. I think it's because you're attracting those types of people that are authentic themselves, but also just I think because the relationship just becomes less weighty. It's not a burden because nobody's playing any games or
Right.
pretending. You're just who you are.
You're not hiding anything.
Exactly.
Wait, did I didn't tell you that yet. Darn. Wait, now I got to figure out how to cover up what I just said because I hadn't shared that with you. It's just,
It's a lot in the brain.
it's too much work.
It is a lot
I
of
just
work.
want to be me.
Exactly.
Be me and have those who resonate on my same frequency be in my life, and let us then go out and do all those amazing things we want to do, like where your heart's at, to help parents, to help entrepreneurs in my case. I really love working with the entrepreneurs, but I love working with families too, helping them become entrepreneurs, even with their kids. Do that as a family.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, and let me do a little pitch for you. So Asia is a business consultant,
Yes.
and you love to help startups.
I love it.
Yes, and you can tell because that's
It's a passion.
I know, but isn't that great though? A passion to help startups because nowadays, my gosh, there's a need for people. Because I hate to say it, but Asia, I mean, there's a lot of people who feel jealous when they have to help someone start up their business.
Right.
There's a lot of that going on. So
True.
the fact that you love to help serve them and really help them to succeed, that's awesome.
But I love the way you said that though, because that's actually my motto. There's a group that I belong to here in the area. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I love it. But it's a group of just different individuals. But they ask you when you come to like tell something about yourself, and my motto is serve to success. So I know, good or bad, I'm going to get what's coming to me. So I better make it good and just keep serving people, helping people get what they want and need, and I'll have what I want and need.
Exactly.
And that's kind of my motto. And same thing with your kids. Just be of the best service you can to your kids. And again, with the modeling, they'll turn and do the same thing for you. They'll see, what does mom need?
Absolutely.
I remember this one story actually. There was when I was younger, I was like totally in love with my best friend. And
Who was a guy?
Yes, he was a
Okay.
guy. and for years, so many years. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine about it one day, and I was like, oh yeah, he's just amazing, da, 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 da. And all of a sudden I just had this, we were talking about law of attraction. I had this feeling. I was like, what in the world? I feel like it's like, I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be talking about him like that, like he's married or something. And so I called my brother and asked my brother, I'm like, hey, check and see if something happened. Did he go out and get married or something? And he did. It was weirdest thing. And my brother calls me back and lets me know. He's like, yeah, like, no one ever thought this guy was going to get married. And he's like, he actually did. And I broke down because he was, at that time, the love of my life.
Right.
And I like screamed or something. I was like, no! So my kid, 12 years old, he comes running downstairs. Mom, what happened? What happened? You would think that when you tell a kid, well, so-and-so got married, they're going to be like, okay, you're weird, and like walk away. But because I've been so authentic with my son, he literally just immediately came up and embraced me and kept telling me, he's like, Mom, it's going to be okay. You'll be all right. Everything's going to be okay. I know how much he cared about him, whatever. But that was so touching to know that my son was playing, but came and comforted his mom because he understood what that meant to me.
Right.
And that now that's off the table. I'm not marrying that guy. You know?
But here's the thing: you were authentic in the way that you went ahead and cried. You didn't hold it back.
Yeah.
You expressed your emotions. That's strength. You know, I mean, you could have easily hid in the closet, and I don't want my child to see me. And then you missed a really great teaching opportunity. But there, you actually modeled for your child. It's okay to have these emotions
Right.
and for these reasons, and as a result, that's the result, is that he came and he embraced you, and then he's going to do the same thing for his wife. And so I think you modeled.
I hope so. Yes.
Yeah, you modeled that it's okay to express yourself.
Yes. And
Yeah.
be open. So many times we do hide things
Mm-hmm.
from the world, from our kids, from whomever, even our spouses.
Yes.
And those,
Yes.
when you hide something, that's really not, we're super dark, but you can see me, but that's
Right.
really not. It's not authentic, but it's actually really a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're living a lie at that point, and then because I used to always say, "Oh, I don't lie," I would like pride myself. "Oh, I don't lie," but I would not share the whole truth or hide something. That's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to not be a hypocrite, I had to stop hiding information. Stop, like if I would go out and buy more makeup, and my husband's like, "Where were you, honey?" I went to the grocery store. I did. I'd gone to the grocery store.
Right.
But I also gone to
Right.
Mac and bought Smile Liner. But I didn't tell him
For
that.
$30.
Right, $32 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, expensive makeup. But then that causes, because then to him, I lied. And then that starts, lies build up, and that it just starts putting pressure on your heart, on your mind, on that relationship. So the more you're just, if I just tell him, I know you don't want me to, but I went out and bought $30 eyeliner.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Exactly.
And then he'd be like, "Oh, okay." And I was
Right.
like, "Well, that was easy." Sometimes you don't realize it. You think you have to tell this lie, and you don't realize that the truth sets you free. You hear it all the time,
Yes.
but we don't believe that until we live it.
So you took the risk of being authentic or real and disclosed to your husband, okay, this is what I did. And see, it wasn't so bad.
Right.
I mean, and so I don't know why human nature, we always expect the worst, when really we should expect the best.
Yes.
And so it was done. So you didn't have to do any hiding. Now you don't have to bury it, deep down inside, and then you'll
And hide the
eventually
eyeliner.
and then have a stack of those kinds of lies, right?
Right.
And it just stacks up, and then it becomes resentment, and then it turns into more stuff than we want it to be.
Sure.
We're talking about darkness, so I'm going to do a little something. So when things are dark, like kind of right now, when you don't put them out into the light, let me show you, it gets, so turn on the light. Lots better. Bad things happen in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And once you turn it into the light, once you put things into the light, it can never go back into the dark. And so that's scriptural, actually. So just bring things into the light. So I often thought about this when I was really kind of naughty in my single years. I always liked to do things at nighttime. I remember that, like always, it had to be nighttime. And I realized why, because you can hide.
Yep.
In the dark, and I just remember not liking the daytime because I think I didn't like myself, and I didn't like the things I was covering up, and I could cover up at night, but I couldn't do that in the light. So again, just
Live in the light.
Live in the light, yes, and that's where the truth actually sets you free when you put things in the light. So, anything else you want to say, Risha?
Not really. I know. So we're not saying it's easy. It's not
No.
easy to stay authentic.
It's not.
And am not there myself 100% of the time, but I
None of us are.
right.
We're always a work in progress.
Yes.
Right?
Our whole life is that journey, not the destination.
That's right.
So I'm constantly working on it. But one of the things that I've heard in the recent months that I do work with some mentors, and that's another thing is always find mentors, and then once you've elevated to another level, find another mentor to help take you to the next level. But one of the things that I love is that I don't have to be from my glass to her glass today. But if I just take a tiny step at being just a little bit better, being a little bit more authentic, a little more loving, a little more service oriented every day, you do try to be 1% better a day. By next year, how much change is there going to be in your life?
You're right.
And you'll start noticing all the different little intricacies and saying, it's kind of like when you do a weight loss program too. If you don't get on the scale and then you turn around and you're like, wow, look how much I've lost. So just focus on that. Be a little bit 1%, 1% better every day of who you are, working on yourself, finding your own true self. 1% better of your relationships with your kids, your time with your kids, or your spouse, or whoever it is. Maybe all you have right now is your parakeet. Talk to your parakeet,
Right.
but just work every day at just being just a little bit better, and in a month or a year, you'll see a drastic change.
Because it all adds up. So what
Absolutely.
you're saying is just move.
Right.
Just keep moving.
Take that step.
Because it's when you stay stagnant, then nothing happens. In fact, it's not even stagnation. I think sometimes you go backwards
Right.
when you're just not moving. You just think of water when it just sits there for days, or anything for that matter. It's yucky. And so, yeah, just keep moving, guys.
Yep.
Just one foot in front of the other. That's all.
And
Yeah.
if you need help, then you can reach out.
Yes.
Find someone who's going to be a really good support system to you,
Right.
no matter what it is. If you're in a happy marriage, but you need someone to model to help
Yeah.
take your marriage to the next level, find help with that. If you are going through, like I love my ex-husband. Hello. But he is my
Can't get
ex-husband.
to any other level. Sorry, I'm
You guys are the cream of the crop. But I mean, I loved him, but there were mistakes made in that marriage, and we ended that. But then take steps to just be better, and I've noticed that even since then, I have changed so much. Who I am is completely different than who I was when we were married.
Exactly.
So
And you know what? You keep working, Asia, until the next guy comes, so that when the next guy comes, who's going to be much more, we hope, but he will be, because I believe in you, and you're growing, right? And again, back to that law of attraction,
Right.
you're going to attract somebody even who's more in line with you. But so I say this for the single people too. Just keep moving. Just keep preparing yourself for the next person, and rather than just sitting and waiting. And what I mean by that is just grow.
Yeah.
Just grow. Just take your issues and work on them. And
for sure.
yeah,
Just
I
always
love.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
love working on my issues. I don't know about you, but I've got a lot. So
It can be painful, but
It is.
it's better to get them out in the open, like you said, in the light, face them, handle it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the more and I know people have heard me say that, because I actually have on my Facebook, I have a second page that's my journey, my wellness journey. And people say, well, you've had that up there for 5 years. My journey's not over. I'm still alive.
Yes.
So it's going to continue to be up there. But I constantly keep working on improving myself. And those who have known me for many years, they'll see a difference now than there was a year ago. And definitely a change between now and 2 years ago. And most drastically, a change between now and 2013. So 6 years ago, where I was almost 300 pounds. So just do a little bit to constantly be moving forward. But remember, in authenticity, be moving forward to what your true self wants, what your goals are, not just keep moving forward because that's the way that the moving sidewalk is going.
Right.
You know?
Good
So.
point. Oh, I love chatting with you.
Likewise.
It's been awesome. Any last minute comments you want to make, Asia, at all?
She's amazing. Keep listening
She's
to her.
amazing. No. And Asia Climaco, you guys have her, if you want to look her up at Facebook. Do you have a website or anything?
I don't have my own website.
Okay,
no.
but just go to Asia Climaco and find her on Facebook if if you have a startup or you're a small
that'd be
business owner. Oh my gosh, you've got to talk to this woman. So thank you guys for listening. We hope you got something out of it. And again, be authentic.
Yes. Authenticity. Be blessed.
Bye guys.